Okay, but look at this. Chunky yarn, ball texture, and somehow it turns into the cutest basket style bag. It looks fancy, feels sturdy, and yes, even a beginner can make it. So grab your hook, and we are getting ready for farmers markets and cute picnics. For this project, we're gonna use a braided rope yarn, and today I am using YarnArt Macrame Braided, which is considered as a super bulky yarn, and 250 grams has 67 meters. It is quite squishy but sturdy at the same time, and it's a mix of cotton and polyester, so it holds shape pretty well. You can also use any other filled braided 4 millimeter rope, or of course a t-shirt yarn would work for this too. We will need almost 2 full skeins of this rope, which ends up being around 400 grams for the bag. And I already prepared one skein as a ball because it's much easier to work with like that. And for the hook size, we're gonna use a 10 millimeter. We're gonna need scissors, bunch of stitch markers, and of course, measuring tape. Our base of the bag, we will start with the magic ring. So round one, we're gonna make a loop with the yarn end like this, and then grab the hook, pull it through the loop, grab the working yarn, pull it inside, and chain one. So I think this is an easy way to make a magic ring. Just make a loop and chain one. All right, so this is the beginning for us. Now we will work 8 single crochets into the magic ring or around the magic ring. So put your hook inside of the ring, grab the yarn, pull a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook, and yarn over, pull through 2 like this. And this is our first stitch, so just place a stitch marker so it will be easier to track later. And now again, insert into the ring, grab the yarn, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, the second single crochet. Again, insert, grab the yarn, pull a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And carry on like this until you make 8 single crochets. Okay, and here it is. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 single crochets. So now we are ready to close the loop. So pull the yarn end to close all the way. Pull it tightly like that. So now the next step is to join the round. So we will work in the first stitch where we place the stitch marker, and we are joining with the, as I am calling, seamless slip stitch, because we want to be everything to be seamless and wouldn't have this visible join. So insert into the first stitch from the back through both loops like this. Insert your hook, and now grab the loop from the last stitch and pull it all the way through like this tightly. We basically want to close it. So of course we have here too much of a loop, so pull it tighter, just enough to slide your hook in. And now in between those first and last stitch we have this loop, sort of stitch. So go under it, and then put your loop on the hook. And now the next step, yarn over and pull all the way through all the loops like that. This is it. I will repeat this throughout the project so it will be easier for you to understand. And now chain 1. That's it. Our first round is done. Now we are ready for round number 2. So for round number 2, we are not working in this invisible slip stitch chain 1 space. We are working in the next stitch. This will be our first stitch is the next stitch basically. So now we are placing an increase. So it means in the next stitch we are placing 2 single crochets. So insert, yarn over and pull a loop. Again, yarn over and pull through 2. So this is our first single crochet. Now let's mark our first stitch so it will be easier to work later. And now again finish the increase. So in the same stitch, insert once again and make 1 more single crochet. Yarn over, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 like this. Alright, so the first increase of the round is done. We have 2 stitches in 1. Now in the next we are placing again an increase, 2 single crochets. So insert and make 1 single crochet and repeat again in the same stitch. Insert, grab the yarn, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 2 increases, so it's 4 single crochets in total. So now repeat again. In 1 stitch we are placing 2 single crochets. So for this round we just placing increases, so it means 2 single crochets in each stitch, and we are doubling the stitch count, so we should have 8 increases. And as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, and just repeat like this until the end of the round. And after this round, we should have a total of 16 single crochets because we doubled, we made increases in each stitch. And now we are ready to join the round with invisible slip stitch, as I am calling it. So pull a slightly taller loop and we will work into the marked stitch, the first stitch, from the back through both loops like that. All right, now put that loop on the hook and pull it through to the other side and tighten it. We should have just a slight tiny bit to go under. And as we have it here, if you think you have too much, you can pull. It should be enough just for the hook. All right, and now in between the stitches we have this loop, 2 loops basically. Go under it and then put that loop from the back on the hook as well. Yarn over, don't forget to yarn over and pull a loop tight. Everything should be quite tight here. And now just chain 1 and round 2 is finished and we are ready for round number 3. So for the next round, we will start by placing 1 single crochet in the very first stitch. So in the next stitch, insert the hook, grab the yarn, pull a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, place a stitch marker. This is the very first stitch, so we know where to work later. All right, now in the next one, we are placing an increase, so it means 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So place 1 and repeat again in the same stitch, 1 more single crochet. All right, so we have 3 single crochets already done. Now in the next, we are working just 1 single crochet. Again, in the next, increase 2 single crochets. So 1 and 1 more in the same stitch. All right, and we have one single crochet increase, one single crochet increase. So now just repeat this pattern until the end of the round. One single crochet increase, one single crochet increase. After the round, we should have total of 24 single crochets. All right, again, we are joining the rounds with invisible slip stitch. So pull a slightly taller loop, take the stitch marker out, and with the hook, go from the back into the first stitch like this. Then put that loop of the last stitch on the hook and pull that loop to the other side like this and tighten it. Okay, now if you need, you can adjust the loop tall, so it should be enough just to slide the hook. And in between the first and the last stitch, we have this horizontal loop, basically. Then slide the loop from the back on the hook, yarn over, and pull a loop. That's it. This is our join. Now we are chaining one and ready for the next round. So round number 4 is the last round for the base. So we should start with an increase in the first stitch. So in the first stitch next to the chain 1, we are placing 2 single crochets. So insert 1 single crochet and now repeat again. Insert the hook into the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull a loop, yarn over, pull for 2. So this is our first stitch and increase. Let's place a stitch marker on the very first single crochet we did right there. Now continue in the next 1 single crochet. Again in the next 1 single crochet. Now the 4th stitch is an increase, so place 2 single crochets in 1. And here it is. We have first increase, 1 increase. So the next step, we just repeat 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets, increase. But I mean 2 single crochets, so it's 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then increase. Let's do this and we will meet at the end of the round. After this round, we should have a total of 32 single crochets. So now let's start once again with the joining. So pull a slightly taller loop, take out the stitch marker from the first stitch, insert your hook through the back into the first stitch. Now put that loop on the hook as well and pull it to the other side all the way through. Tight. And now we should prepare for the next round, because for round number 5 we will be working only in the back loop of the stitch. So we should fake our invisible join so it wouldn't be visible. So we need to make sure that we are working and creating the back loop for this part as well. So as you can see here, we have 2 loops here as well. So we only working through the back loop. So insert in the middle of the horizontal loop and continue the same as before and chain 1. And as you can see here, we sort of create the back loop, like we worked only the back loop. And as you can see here, if I am taking the back loop, we have the front loop left and it almost looks like a regular stitch. And we are doing this only for this round, only for this round. So just one time for this pattern, we are doing like this. So now let's measure. We have around 14 centimeters, so roughly around 5.5 inches for our base diameter. All right, and will be working from round number 5, the body of the bag. So the body will start through, as I mentioned, we're gonna work in the back loop only. So we will create this sort of separation from the body and the base, and it will give so much more structure. We also will take the horizontal loop on the back side. This one, as you can see, this tiny horizontal loop. As we are grabbing the back loop, we are also grabbing this horizontal loop together. So as you can see, if we insert through the back in the middle of the stitch, we also grab the horizontal one. This step will give a much more structure and sturdiness for our bag. So we are picking up 2 loops, back loop and a horizontal loop, which is visible from the back side of the project. Okay, so one more time, 2 loops like that. Just for this round, again, just for this round. So let's start. Let's work in the next stitch. So the stitch right next to the chain of 1, and go in the back loop of the stitch like this. Pick up the horizontal loop of the stitch from the back side, the horizontal one like this, and now make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull a loop, we have 2 loops on the hook, and yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so this is our first single crochet through the back loop and horizontal loop. So let's place a stitch marker to mark the first stitch like that, so we know where we started. And now let's continue again in the next stitch. 1 single crochet, go through the back loop, turn, grab the horizontal loop on the back side of the stitch like this, and now finish as usual. So yarn over, pull a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let's go again. In the back loop of the stitch, grab the horizontal stitch and finish the single crochet. So place 1 single crochet back loop plus the horizontal loop in each stitch. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch all around until the end of the round, and place like this, and we will meet at the end of the round. And as you can see, it's already forming this kind of straight row around the base. So this is perfect, and it will give the structure for the bag we need. So let's continue. 1 single crochet back loop, horizontal loop in each stitch. After the round, we should have a total of 32 single crochets. And here you can already clearly see the separation from the base of the bag to the body of the bag. So now we just carry on of building the body of the bag. So now the next step again is to join with a seamless slip stitch. So just go into the first stitch of the round, grab that loop, pull it through all the way, tighten it, and now go in between the stitches, grab the loop, yarn over, pull a loop, and now chain 1. So yarn over, pull a loop. Now for round 6, we just carry on without increases. So we just do one single crochet in each stitch. So let's place the first. Always mark your first stitches with the stitch marker. And in the next, we place one single crochet. And repeat like this. In the next, one single crochet. One single crochet in the next. And go like this until you finish this round with 32 single crochets. And of course, after the end of the round, we are joining with the same technique, which I am showing here just in fast forward because we are always doing the same one. Now chain 1, round number 7, again, no increases, just 32 single crochets. So one single crochet in each stitch of the round. Previous rounds 6 and 7 has 32 single crochets in each round. So now for round number 8, we will start increasing once again. So after chain 1, in the next stitch, we are placing one single crochet. Always mark your first stitch. Now in the next, we are placing one single crochet again. And one more. So we have 3 single crochets before the increase. So after 3 single crochets, we are placing an increase, 2 single crochets in one stitch. So let's do one more. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 single crochets, increase. So now the sequence is again like this, the same. 3 single crochets, increase. 3 single crochets, increase. So as usual, we are placing 8 increases for the round. So make sure you have the right stitch count and the right increase count. And the total stitch count for round number 8 is 40 single crochets. So now again, we are joining with the same technique with the seamless slip stitch. So let's do that. Yarn over, pull a loop, and chain 1. So now for the next rounds from round 9 to round 11. So for the next 3 rounds, we are placing just 40 single crochets for each of the round. So we are not increasing, we're just building the same amount of stitches in each round. So let's do that in fast forward. And this is what we have after a total of 11 rounds. We are almost, I would say, halfway there. So let's join the last round. The same technique. I didn't show how to join the previous rounds, but it's always the same one. Same technique. So now chain 1 and round 12. Again is an increase round. So now in the next 4 stitches, we will place one single crochet. So let's place the first single crochet. Of course, mark the first stitch and place 3 more. So one in the next, one more in the next, and one more single crochet. So we have 4 single crochets, and the next stitch is an increase, 2 in 1. All right, so now the pattern for this round is 4 single crochets, increase, 4 single crochets, increase. The total stitch count is 48 single crochets. Let's finish the round by joining the stitches and chain 1. So now from round 13 to 15, so for the next 3 rounds we are not placing any increase, just total of 48 single crochets for each round. So 1 single crochet in each stitch. And let's do that for the next 3 rounds. And here it is. I just finished making around 15. So this is what the bag is looking at the moment after 15 rounds. Let's finish by joining those rounds. And we have just a couple of rounds left to finish this bag. So chain 1 and round 16, again an increase round. So we are placing first 5 single crochets in the next stitches. So let's place the second one, the third single crochet, 4, and one more, 5 single crochets, and the next stitch is increase, 2 single crochets in 1. So the pattern for this round is again like that: 5 single crochets, increase, 5 single crochets, increase. So let's crochet this round and we will meet you at the end. After the round, the total stitch count should be 56 single crochets. Let's finish by joining the round, chain 1, and let's start around 17. For this round, no increase, just 56 single crochets, so 1 single crochet in each of the stitch. So after the round, we are finishing same technique by joining the first stitch with the last by making an invisible slip stitch, yarn over, pull a loop, and chain 1. So now for the round 18 we will start forming the handles finally. So we will need a couple of more stitch markers to place, to mark the stitches where we're gonna place the handles. But before that, let's quickly measure what body height we have at the moment. So now we have around 7.8 inches, so roughly around 20 centimeters of the main body height. So now we will form the handles, the handle placement. So we need to mark 5 sections. So we start now with 9 stitches. So count 9 stitches and mark the 9th stitch. And here we will be placing single crochets for this part. Now, after the 9th stitch, we will start chaining and making the base of the handle. So we will skip 10 stitches. So count those 10 stitches where our chain will be placed. Mark the 10th stitch. And of course, I am marking the first and the 10th stitch where we're gonna skip this part and chain. So the third part will be 18 single crochets. So after the marker, count the next 18 stitches and mark the 18th stitch. Here we'll be placing single crochets. So let's mark the 18th stitch and I am marking the first stitch where we're gonna place the first single crochet after the chains. All right, now again we are counting 10 stitches and marking the 11th one. Here we are also will be chaining and skipping those stitches, so count 10, and I'm marking here the 11th stitch where we start placing the single crochets, and we should be left with 9 stitches. So once again, let's go break it down. So the first part will be here 9 single crochets. So here we will chain and skip those 10 stitches where the gray markers are, and we will join the chain into the next marked stitch, the red one, and from that we're gonna place 18 single crochets. Then again we're gonna chain and skip those 10. Here we're gonna skip those 10 stitches, and we will place join the chain with the single crochet into the next marked stitch, and we finish last part with 9 single crochets. All right, so round 18. Now it will be much clearer. So let's place 9 single crochets. Place the first, and of course mark the first stitch with a stitch marker right on top, and continue by placing 8 more. So let's do that quickly, and place 9 single crochets, and this is the last one, and let's take out the stitch marker. So here it is, we have 9 single crochets for our first part, and now we start chaining. So this will be the base of the handle. So yarn over and pull a loop, yarn over and pull a loop. So we chain 12, a total of 12 chains. This is the base of our handle. All right, we have a chain here. So now we are skipping 10 single crochets and joining into 11th stitch with a single crochet. So insert into the 11th stitch, yarn over, pull a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2. And this will be our first single crochet for the next part. So here it is, we have a chain, and under that we skipped 10 single crochets. Now let's take out the stitch marker, and for this part we should have 18 single crochets in total. So we placed 1 by joining, so we continue by placing 17 more. So I am doing that in fast forward. And the last single crochet goes into the marked stitch. And here it is, the third section is 18 single crochets. Now again, we will be chaining to create the second handle. So chain a total of 12, and we will skip 10 stitches at the bottom. And we are joining the chain with the single crochet into the marked stitch because we marked the 11th stitch. So we skip 10 and placing single crochet into 11th stitch. And now, as we already did 1 single crochet, we should finish with 8 more. So the last section consists of 9 single crochets. So let's finish that. 9 single crochets, and we are joining with our seamless slip stitch technique. So pull a loop, go from the back into the first stitch, take that loop and pull all the way like this. Now go in between those stitches, put that loop on the hook, yarn over, pull a loop, chain 1. All right, I hope you already get that joining method. And after this round, we should have a total stitch count of 60. So here it is, what we have already formed handles, the base of our handles. And now we have the last round where we will strengthen those handles and we will make them thicker and sturdier by placing single crochets. All right, so I'm taking out those last stitch markers we have left and we are starting our last round, so round 19. So let's place those 9 single crochets for the first part. Of course, the stitch marker in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in each stitch. And let's make them 9 in total until we reach the chain of the handle. All right, let's count. We have 9. First part is done again. And we reach the chain. So now we're gonna work around the chain and fill the handle with single crochets. So we're gonna work around, not into the chain, but around it. Around like that. Grab the yarn, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And we are going to work like this around the handle with single crochets. And for the chain of 12, I am filling with 18 single crochets. You can make more or less if you feel like. This is basically up to you. I feel that 18 single crochets fills the chain perfectly. So let's place that. You can see here that I am squeezing those single crochets to have more room and just in order to have the thicker and sturdier handles basically. So the stitches would be tight around the chain. Okay, so let's place the very last ones and the handle is looking like this at the moment. So one more and the handle is done. We're done filling it. And we are carrying on by making single crochets once again. So in the third part, we need 18 single crochets. So let's find the very first one and place the single crochet there. And carry on with 1 single crochet in each stitch until we reach the other chain and another handle. Okay, here we are. Now we're gonna work again around the handle the same way we did before and place 18 single crochets around the chain. Okay, here it is. The second handle is finished and the last part is left with 9 single crochets. So let's do that and our bag will be almost finished. Okay, so the last round is done. Now we need just to join the round with invisible join. So not the seamless slip stitch as we did for the working all the bag, but just invisible join. So let's pull a longer loop, cut the yarn. Now carefully take out that loop. So we have the end of the yarn, single end of the yarn, and we will work into the first stitch. So now insert from the back again as we did before by joining the rounds and take that yarn end and pull it all through the stitch. And now we need to form that V form of the stitch, basically to create a fake stitch. So we're gonna go back again in the last stitch, in the middle of the last stitch. And I'm again taking the horizontal loop and the back loop to be in the middle of the stitch. It will be much sturdier and more secure to finish the round like this. So go in the horizontal stitch, a horizontal loop of the stitch, and in the middle through the back. And take that yarn end and pull it all the way through the stitch. And here it is, our invisible join. We created a fake looking V stitch, and basically it is invisible where we finished and where we started the round. So now I'm just quickly gonna change the hook into the smaller, because it's way easier to weave in the ends with the smaller hook. So let's secure that yarn end and weave in a few stitches and make a few knots to secure it completely to avoid unraveling. So let's do that. After securing the very last yarn end, I'm cutting it off and fixing the rest of the yarn ends I have throughout the bag. So as you can see here, the place where I started a new ball, I made a knot. So I need to weave in those yarn ends. And of course, there is the beginning yarn end at the base of the bag. So we need to secure that as well. So I'm tightening to close the loop, to close the first round, the magic ring, very tight, and making a few knots and weaving in the end. So here it is. Let's make the final measurements of the bag we just did. So the whole height of the bag is 22 centimeters. So roughly around 8.7 inches. The main body height up till the handles are around 19.5 centimeters, so 7.7 inches. Okay, now the base of the bag, the diameter is around 12 centimeters, so around 5 inches. Okay, and now what's left? The handle height. So from the base, from the body of the bag to the top of the handle, we have around 7 centimeters, so nearly 3 inches. And the chain of 12 we did. So the length of the handle is around 20 centimeters. So nearly 8 inches, 7.9. And what else? Of course, we need to measure the full width of the bag. So it's around 30 centimeters or 14.2 inches. So the widest part of the bag. All right, so here it is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.